Writer's block, but make it Instagram. Instagram has changed so much over the years, incorporating little bits of Snapchat features and TikTok features into their own platform, along with so many other things. But while the video photography medium on the platform continues to shape-shift, there's one thing that stayed kind of the same, and that is the caption space. Today, I'm going to share with you some tips so you can write better Instagram captions that not just drive engagement, but drive them to the call to action you want them to take. Hey there, if we've not yet met, my name is Ashlyn Carter. I'm a conversion copywriter and brand and launch strategist for creative entrepreneurs. I'm all about figuring out how to help you make more money with your words. I want you to pop down and click that like button if you have ever felt personally victimized by Instagram before. If the platform's ever stressed you out, you haven't known what to say or what to post or how the kids are using it these days, that's usually how I feel. In last week's video, I did some tips on how to plan out and batch schedule your social media calendar. So in this week's video, I'm going to go a level deeper and talk about that static field area that we have, the place to write our captions. So tee that video up if you've not watched it yet, but right now I'm going to jump straight into a caption framework that I have. If I'm writing more of a long form post, this is what I'm going to use. Let me back up. So this time last week, I was at my annual mastermind event, and my coach, Julie, has said something before that I love, and so I'm going to tell it to you too. She's talked about the idea of being sticky with your content, and she's defined that as you don't need to introduce yourself twice. That is, we want your brand, your visuals, your style, your voice to be so palpable and so clear that either if they don't follow you the first time, you're sticky enough that the second time when they come back, they think, you know what, I've been here before, this looks familiar. So how can we write stickier, long-form Instagram captions? Here's the framework. It's called Swift, yes, as in Taylor. We love frameworks around here. I have my ART-IST About Page framework, my Sweet 16 Sales Page framework, my Homepage framework, but this is over in Content Land. We're going to talk about your Swift framework for your Instagram captions. What you want to do right off the bat is the sticky hook. That's the first piece of the copy here. So when I say above the fold, I mean before I tap the more and I'm able to expand and have a little bit more copy there, is what is above the fold going to catch my eye? Is it sticky? I try to front load my captions. If I have something that I think is unique or eye-catching or memorable, that's going to go at the top because, again, if they don't open up the rest of that caption, who cares what I said in the rest of it? They didn't know to open it. I'm going to put some examples of some good sticky headlines right here, but one pro tip I have for you is mind your inbox. There are some great subject lines that can absolutely fill in and be really good sticky starters because, again, that subject line is doing the same thing. It's trying to catch your attention enough for you to open the email and read the rest of the email, and so here it's the same concept. Next up, you're going to give it the what's in it for me. Like writer Ann Handley says, readers will read what you write only if something is in it for them. That will always be true. People are reading your stuff for themselves. They're reading it to feel encouraged, included, educated, or entertained. So this is a quick snippet to state why they need to keep reading. Is this a behind-the-scenes scoop? Is this your method? Why does this matter to me? Again, I'm going to put some examples up over the side. Think about this as the are you in or you out moment in your caption. This is going to help people that do want to keep reading understand that you're talking to them, and those who aren't, move along. Next up, the middle part, the info section, I. This is the value-packed nugget. It's your tip, it's your tidbit, it's your 3 steps. Next, we're giving the fast segue, like this kind of segue. Not this kind of segue, but like a pivot segue, think Ross and Friends segue. And if you have my 130 content story starters from the Copy Bar shop, then you have all my examples of these that I love to use all the time. This is the transition. I did this in a recent email campaign we sent out. I just said, and that brings me to you. 6 words, that's a segue. It doesn't take much. So we can wrap it up with the call to action. This is the T for to do. What do you want them to do? Do you want them to DM you a certain word or a set of emojis? Do you want them to save this post to come back to and reference? Do you want them to head to a link? Whatever it is, be clear. I'm gonna give you some examples of those at the end of this video. That brings me to this, how much to write. Now, obviously this framework that I'm giving you is more of a long form Instagram post. Let me show you an example of a caption that I'm writing right now for a reel. Here is where I'd be typing the caption. And so for a reel like this, I'm not gonna worry about a super long form caption. This is more just kind of behind the scenes, like a skit type of a reel. So I would, that is copy in there as a reminder of what the reel was about. I'd probably play around that, and then I was thinking about doing something like point of view. So I'll pick one of those eventually, but I'll just write here. I can write with my thumbs, put it that way. When I'm writing a more long form caption, I always write those on a desktop, or when I say desktop, I mean my laptop usually. I'm playing with it, I'm editing it, I'm moving in emojis. Well, I always say when people ask me, how long should my writing be? It needs to be as long as it needs to be, which I know is the most meta answer, but in essence, people do still read long copy. They don't read boring copy, but make it as long as it needs to be and edit out all the excess. Don't put anything in the way for your reader. One of my best editing tips is just to never write anything on the fly and publish it immediately. Write it, come back to it the next day with fresh eyes, and then edit it. A lot of times you get that clarity that you just didn't have in the moment. I did a video a couple of weeks ago about Facebook ad copy and how to write that. Be sure to check that out. That may give you a few more ideas and tips about more long form copy, especially if you're going to be throwing some dollars behind it. Spoiler, I talk about testing long form, that's so hard to say, long form ad copy versus short form ad copy, and so always test. Okay, let's talk about Instagram keywords. So we know that Instagram suggested content feeds are where it's at. It's an essential tactic to improve your discoverability. But things on the app have changed when it comes to keywords. So until fairly recently, when you opened up search and you were looking for things, it was based off hashtags, location tags, and usernames. But now you can search in here using keywords. So whatever topic you're interested in learning about or trying to find, you can type it in here. This means now that writing relevant, descriptive captions that do include some of the keywords that you would like to show up for, that matters on Instagram now. It used to not. Yet another reason when you're writing a long Instagram post, I say just head to the desktop because you can figure out these kind of things a lot easier than with your thumbs. Okay, I wanted to give you a few call to action ideas that you could give in your caption. Something that's so easy you can always do is ask people to vote for your favorite, A or B, or just ask them to put an emoji in. Asking them to send you a direct message is a good idea, or asking them to say something in a word. Sometimes I have felt like people ask questions that are so personal, and I'm like, I'm not gonna put that out in your caption for the world to see. So think about that when you're writing your captions. Write something that people would be okay with posting publicly. Another CTA I always love is telling people to save this post. So if you're creating more of a reference post, reminding them, hey, go ahead, flag this, save it, come back to it when you need it. You don't need to worry about it now. All right, last thing I wanted to do is flip the camera around, take you into Plann, and show you how I'm gonna write up a quick Instagram caption to post. Let's do that. Okay, so here we are in Plann. You'll have to excuse my voice, it's a little bit gone. But over here on the side, again, I talked about this in last week's video, but I just created this image in Canva. I knew I wanted to do a post and have like words scratched out because I wanted to visually show like why you need to just like edit stupid words out of your writing. So I made that in Canva. I just used a template that I had and I dragged it and I dropped it in here. Again, I also mentioned in last week's video, but I wanted to show you because this happened since then, a podcast interview that I was on is going live today. And so my team cancel, save, definitely save this. My team drug this sucker in and is letting me know like when it's going live and the link and everything so I can share that. So that's super helpful because then I don't have to worry about like keeping it on my own calendars and stuff. Okay, let's go back to, so this is the post. And I just like scratched some just thoughts, like I just word vomited. And every time I write a first draft, I actually am kind of talking about it in this post. Anytime I'm writing a draft of anything, it is like throwing up. It's disgusting. It's on paper. And then I always have to walk away and look at it with fresh eyes. If at all possible, allow a sleep in between. You just will look at things differently. So, and I'm not going to post this for a little bit. So I'll probably sleep on it some more. I actually, for this first line, was struggling if I wanted to do ew or salads. Because remember, this is the hook. So I'm trying to make it like interesting. This keyboard, I'm writing on my Big Mac and it doesn't have emojis on this keyboard, like the quick scroll. So I like to write on my laptop so I can throw in emojis, or I just go to emojicopy.com and put them in. But I'd put a salad right here. TBT to when we stuffed essays in high school to hit word counts. Am I right? I don't know if this is going to be the strongest hook. This is what I'm probably going to have to play around with. So I'm going to, in the editing process, decide. Grab. I made thesaurus that. I don't know. I kind of like just the funny angle, even though it's probably not as hooky. Whether it's this week's newsletter or a client inquiry waiting for a response, weak writing makes you look, I'll just say makes you, because makes you look wishy-washy. Here's a few tips. Here are a few tips. See Grammarly. And again, I talk about that in this post. Okay. Let's say 5 Tips to get your writing ripped and stronger stat. Tap the flag button and save this post for future reference. First draft is the worst. Write it anyway. The beauty is always in the rewrite, even if it's just a few. Stacking the subject first. Instant pep. Sub out Amazon was were been with action verbs. Think verbs you can see. Mix according to. I think there is. I believe the truth is, and just say it. Install Grammarly. It's free and obey that bot. Like 97% of the time, it's solid. I kind of want to, like, if I were talking, I would say like beaucoup de words, but I don't think that's going to be. I think that's probably too clever. Our copy chief, hundreds of words weekly. From and our agency. Guess who has to edit this stuff constantly? Would it help? Okay, so there's a rough draft. So what I'm going to do now is, I like this for the most part. So I will step away from it. I'll come back, add some emojis, and I'll schedule this out and get it ready to go. All right, writing your Instagram captions, I hope, is not as much of a pain as maybe it has been in the past after watching this. Writing is one of those small business tasks that is going nowhere fast. So if you want to take these tips, batch apply them, and figure out how to write more in less time, then be sure to watch the next video I've got teed up for you. It's all about how to write faster copy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.